Pastor Hezekiah Smith was one of the most successful and influential preachers in New England during America's Revolutionary War era. His name would be much more commonly known among believers were it not for the fact that he refused to sanction the writing of his biography, and he declined requests to commission the painting of his portrait. He felt the true humility as a servant of Christ demanded that he receive as little notoriety as possible. We do know a few of the details of Hezekiah Smith's life only because Pastor Samuel Smith, Hezekiah's granddaughter's husband, published a few pages of family history 50 years after Hezekiah's death. Hezekiah Smith was born in Long Island in 1737. He was saved at an early age, and as a young man, he attended the First Baptist Church of New York City, pastored by John Gonneau. In Hopewell, New Jersey, the Baptists had established an academy to train young men for the ministry. Hezekiah Smith attended the Hopewell Academy, and when he graduated, he enrolled at Princeton. When Hezekiah completed his education, he was in poor health, and he was advised to visit a warmer climate. So he spent the next year traveling 4,000 miles throughout the southern colonies, meeting preachers, and making friends with whom he would stay in contact for the rest of his life. His final landing place in the South was Charleston, South Carolina. The Baptist Association of Charleston ordained Hezekiah Smith to the ministry, and though he knew he wasn't supposed to put down roots there, he did stay for a little while, preaching every time he had the opportunity. Then, in the spring of 1764, at age 27, Hezekiah Smith got on his horse and rode north to the New England colonies. There, Hezekiah was invited to preach in several congregational churches. Everywhere he preached, the Lord blessed greatly, and everyone could see that he was a genuine man of God. He came to the town of Haverhill, north of Boston, on the New Hampshire border. The congregational church in the western part of town was without a pastor, so the pulpit committee invited Hezekiah Smith to temporarily fill their pulpit. The Lord blessed his time there greatly. People were being saved. The church was growing. But in spite of the clear blessing of God upon Hezekiah Smith's ministry, some of the church people insisted that the committee find and call a pastor who shared their congregationalist views. When the committee notified Hezekiah that they wouldn't be needing him anymore, he decided to go back to New Jersey. On the day of his departure, Hezekiah was packing his belongings, getting ready to leave, when he heard a knock on his door. He opened to find some of the teenagers from the church standing there, with tears in their eyes. He welcomed them. "Please, come on in." They walked in and began to plead with him. "We need you to stay here. You won us to the Lord. You taught us how to walk with Him. And we were hoping that someday you would baptize us. We need you." Hezekiah said, "My work here is done. I'm going to serve the Lord in New Jersey." And one of the teenagers spoke up and said, "You belong here. You'll be back someday. You'll see." And Hezekiah said, "The only way I'll be coming back here is if you pray me back." He led them outside, said goodbye, got on his horse, and made his way to Boston. Hezekiah spent that night in Boston, and in the morning he set out for Providence, Rhode Island. After he had ridden about 20 miles, the words of Isaiah 35, verses 3 and 4 came into his mind and wouldn't leave him alone. "Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, Be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you." He stopped his horse, and he sat and pondered what that could mean. After a few minutes, he started riding again. But soon, those words powerfully invaded his mind a second time. He stopped and thought again. Then suddenly, he pulled the reins and steered his horse back towards Boston. When he arrived, he found two men who had been sent from Haverhill to make him an offer. "Brother Smith, we represent a group of people who want to form a Baptist church, and we want you to be our pastor." Hezekiah followed the men back to Haverhill, and he was welcomed by a crowd of people who let him know that they were very excited to have him back. The next Sunday, he preached to those people from Acts 10:29. "Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying, as soon as I was sent for. I ask, therefore, for what intent ye have sent for me." Those people officially established a church on May 9th, 1765. They built a meeting house for the church, and they installed Hezekiah Smith as their pastor on November 12, 1766. He served in that church with great success for 40 years. He married a woman from Massachusetts, and together they had 4 children. When the Revolutionary War began, Hezekiah Smith was made a chaplain in the Continental Army, and he became close friends with General Washington. He methodically established a total of 13 churches in area towns and in New Hampshire and Maine. Hezekiah Smith died in January of 1805 at 68 years of age. Pastor Samuel Stillman of Boston preached his funeral from Acts 13:36. David, after he had served his own generation by the will of God, fell on sleep and was laid unto his fathers. Christian, serve the Lord with everything you have in the place that he has for you. Stay the course.